Welcome to the 24K Life Podcast. I am your host, Derick Gant. You know what? 24K Life is all about how you can figure out how to bring your best effort to elevate yourself to live the best life you can possibly live. Today we are bringing someone that is the epitome of 24K. This brother has gone through the fire and he has come out pure gold. He has gone through the process. He has been processed. He has told you and me. He's going to tell you a little bit more about what it felt like, what it meant, and why he is so hell-bent on helping you elevate your life. Today, I'm bringing you Rick Koenig, and he is a beast. You know how I have those beast mode shirts? Beast mode right here. How you doing, Rick?
There you go, man. I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor.
Hey, man, I'm happy to have you. You hail from Missouri. What's in Missouri, bro? Never been there. What's there?
Brother, I tell you, I call it misery. But I've been out here now going on 14 years on the 22nd of this month, man. I mean, I was counting the days. I made a life out here, but originally from South Philly, moved into Camden, New Jersey. I don't know if you're familiar with Jersey at all or Camden, you know what I mean? So a little rough, but, you know, I mean, it's you know, I made it, man. You know what I mean? And then Pennsauken, and then moved out here at the age of 42. Never thought I would. I was in the mortgage industry. Always had a martial arts school, but you know, in 07 when shit hit the fan, I started to rob Peter to pay Paul for 2 years, and when Paul ran out of money, Peter got pissed.
Peter got mad.
That was it. So you know, we packed up the van and we moved to Missouri, man, and literally, I thought I was only going to be out here for about a year. That was it. I had everything in storage in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
How did you pick Missouri, bro?
Well, brother of mine is an Elvis entertainer, and he was in Legends in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And he did a tour around the country with Legends. It's a big production. And, you know, everybody does, like Tina Turner. They'll have like the Blues Brothers and things of that nature. And he was a phenomenal Elvis. And at any rate, they wound up here in Branson. My sister-in-law got pregnant, and he figured, you know what? This is a pretty neat town to have a family. I mean, people don't know a lot about Branson, Missouri, but it's in the top 5 for tourist attractions in the United States.
Oh, really?
I mean, we get over 10. We get anywhere from 10 to 20 million tourists here a year. And then our population drops down to about 10,000.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So let me give a basic background history on you. You are a second degree black belt.
Second degree.
And you have been in the fitness. You've been an MMA fighter. You have, you had your story from what I picked up, began when you were 4. Tell us about what happened to you at 4. I mean, I don't even remember being 4, bro.
Well, at the age of 4, I had anger issues. I had real bad anger issues. And I learned this throughout life itself. You're not born with anger issues. Something happened to you as a baby or something that you don't remember. And basically, it was probably for my older sister picking on me. Maybe taking my binky out of my mouth, fucking with my food or whatever. So I was a very angry kid. I got into a lot of fights in South Philly. Lived on a city block. You had 75 homes all connected on one block.
Right.
So basically, my folks wanted me to be in martial arts. So you had to be the age of 4. So on June 27th, 1972.
Time out, man. Time out. You telling me, like, I'm thinking you like, I asked you about 4.
Yeah.
But when you were talking, I thought you were talking about like when you were 11 or 12. You telling me at 4?
I started at 4. Yeah.
You was beating your sister at 4, bro?
I wouldn't say my sister. I would say people on the block.
Okay.
I would have liked to kick her ass. She was 10 years older than me. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother story. I mean, she was my half sister. My mother always wanted a son. She finally had me with her stepfather, my father.
Right,
So
right.
she was very, very envious, and she had some mental problems. She
Okay,
passed
that makes
away,
sense.
but yeah, she was a little twisted. I mean, I loved her to death until she passed away. But I mean, she would lock me in the basement while she was babysitting me. I mean, she would get me drunk at the age of 9, so she didn't have to babysit me just to watch me pass out.
No
Because
wonder
she
you
didn't
were
have to
uptight.
touch me.
You deserve
Oh
to
yeah.
be upset.
Well, that's it. And like I said, through martial arts, because back then you weren't really lifting weights as much. You know what I mean?
No.
So I excelled in martial arts, and then I got into football, baseball, basketball, and then anytime that there was any type of gap, if I decided I didn't want to play baseball, I was
Mhm.
back into the dojo. I was training. So
Okay.
my parents always made sure that I was occupied doing something. And as a kid, man, you'd rather take out the trash than do martial arts every day. I mean, it
Right.
was, I was getting cracked. I mean, back then our sensei was, cracking our face. I mean, it
Right.
wasn't like today.
No, they weren't pulling punches back then, man. And when you sparred,
No.
do you sparred? Because I did it for a while. When you
Yeah.
sparred, you sparred.
You smart, man. Right. Yeah. And again, we come from the same generation. You know what
Yeah,
I
and
mean?
definitely don't challenge the sensei. I made the mistake of doing that once, man. He knocked the wind out of me, and I was playing Division I college football, so I was a beast. But
Wow.
I
Wow.
bucked up against him, man. I don't know. Let's spar. Let's spar.
Yeah.
Dude, I probably didn't even have a green belt yet, but I was
Right.
really athletic and aggressive. I'm
Yeah.
like, come, let's do it. Let's do it, man. That
Right.
sparring match lasted a good 2.5 minutes.
Oh yeah. 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 He was putting it on you,
Yeah,
man.
and that was just it could have ended after 30 seconds. He was just being nice by giving me 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, man. I give you all the kudos in the world, though, man. You stepped up to the plate. You know what I mean? You wanted to see what it was about, man. That's
Yeah.
man, you got my respect.
All right, man. All right. So you've also had some really interesting, crazy, what an average American or person in the universe would consider crazy. I think it's crazy. You've had some crazy experiences. You mentioned the mob. You mentioned jail. I mean,
yeah.
tell us about your background, man, because this is interesting and people want to know because I've already donned you. I've already christened you 24K, man. So they know it. The story ends right. But tell us about the lead up.
Well, again, being in martial arts, man, I excelled. I was very tough. I got my black belt at the age of 7. At the age of 11, I was the second degree in Taekwondo, and I wanted to further myself. You know what I mean? I was very fortunate. My father took me over to Joe Frazier's gym, so I was able to train with his oldest son was Marvis, and Marvis is about 10 years older than me. Joe Jr., I think he's about 10 years younger than me. So I did a lot of training with those cats, man, and they put it on me, man. And as I was sick of getting my ass whooped all the time, got into Muay Thai. Bumped into a guy named Bob Harmel, and Bob right now has a huge academy in Arizona. He's about 10 years older, and I mean, I was, back then, knees and elbows, and you were allowed to strike to the spine, the back of the head, it's the 8 limbs. I was tough, and I wanted to work. I wanted to work,
Right.
and my father had pizzerias, so he had pizzerias for 47 years. You know what I
So
mean?
he's an entrepreneur right out of the gate.
Man, the guy was raised in the 30s, 1933. He was born, and his father put him in the. So he was raised by nuns. He grew up in an orphanage, and
Okay.
then from there he went into the military, saved his money up, and he built his way up through restaurants. And so I grew up in the pizzeria industry, and so I had a lot of good connections with that. And guys needed security, and they knew I was tough. So at the age of 19, I got involved in security. You know what I mean? And just
Okay.
out there, just making sure everything was basically leveraged out. And, back in South Philly and in South Jersey, you had the mob. I mean, that was the time and era, I
Right.
mean, the guys, so you either got along with them or you didn't. And it was better to be friends with them, and they appreciated, what I would do for them. And
Okay.
so, like I said, I wouldn't really say I was an enforcer, but I was an enforcer.
Yeah, we kind of read between the lines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, never connected. Never connected. First and foremost, I'm German. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Koenig is so. I mean, there's guidelines. You know what I mean? But at the
Got
same
you.
point in time, I just made sure when they were at the bars, at the clubs, that things were handled correctly. Not to say they couldn't handle themselves,
Right.
We're going back. We're going back to the Joey Marlino, John Stanford wars, and I mean there was some grimy shit going on, man. I mean
Yeah.
grimy shit. But I mean, like you said, you look back at it now, and I'm like, damn, how the hell did I survive that shit, man? Like
Yeah.
it's a trip, but at least I got a story to tell.
No, you got a great story to tell, and all
Yeah,
those things make you who you are today. And if you wouldn't be who
that's
you
right.
are today,
That's
if you
correct.
didn't go through the things you went through, and we all go through different things at different levels. So how was your, how did you, I don't want to say how was it, how did you survive the time that you spent in jail?
I hate to say it, man, but it was easy.
Really?
I was, yeah. I mean, I was already conditioned, man. I knew I was
Okay.
going in there, and I'm just one of those cats. Like I want to say I'm fearless because we all have fear, but
Right.
that part of my time, man, I was just looking forward to getting in and getting out, and it just
Hmm.
doing my bid. And matter of fact, I mean, we were my father. It was father and son. Me and my old man got caught up into some shit with the pizzeria, and they came down on us, and they came down hard on him, and they made a plea. He said, "Listen, we know you're not going to open up your mouth. You're not going to dime anybody out. This that. However, we know Junior was involved." And
Hmm.
if Junior pleads to the same charges as Senior, we'll reduce Senior's term. And at that time,
Really?
I wasn't looking at no jail time at all. Okay.
Okay.
And my old man was pissed, man. He was like, "Nah, man, kid, you ain't cooperating at all. That means not all." And I was like, "Well, I got a little say to say in this, Pop." I said, you got a grandson that you're going to see, and I want you out before you die. I want you to be
Right.
around your grandson. And so I agreed to it. You know what I mean? And he
Mhm.
didn't talk to me for about 9 months. And
Really?
we went through transit. I mean, in Jersey, it was heavily populated. So before we hit our final destination, we were hitting one spot after another spot after another spot after another spot. Two rough spots, Trenton State and Rahway. I saw a lot of shit pop off that, when I got
Right.
to my final destinations, which is Leesburg, that's in Cape May County. Like I said, I don't want to say it was soft, man, because I don't want to sound like some type of fucking tough guy.
Come on,
I
man. You are
did,
who you are, man.
I did
Just
my
own it. That's all
you
good.
That's it. I mean, I wasn't involved in drugs. I wasn't involved in gambling, man. I was in there to help my people. That was it.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
people always say, "Well, is it racial?" To a certain extent, it is. But I jive more with the Latin Kings and the Yetis because when I moved to Camden, I grew up in the Puerto Rican neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So they were my people. I mean, to be straight out, man, most of the white cats out there were just doing a lot of dope. They weren't to be trusted. They were fiends, man. I didn't want to be
Yeah.
associated with those cats. And like I said, the Latin Kings and Nietas, they were more of like a family-based oriented um, culture. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
All right.
like I said, it's surviving, man. It was it,
Yeah, I feel you. So
it
you
was
got
doing your
out.
bid, man. Doing your bid.
You got out. How long were you in? I'm assuming you were in a shorter time period than your dad. So he got out? Is he out now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My father got out. He did 7 years. I did 5. And
Okay.
he got out. He passed away. Well, I've been out here now since 14 years. He passed away about 16, 17 years ago. He passed away
Okay.
at the age of 75.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, the guy had a hard life, man. Heavy smoker.
Yeah.
He wasn't a drinker. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? He just liked to smoke his cigarettes a lot. And ultimately, that's what killed him.
That's what got him.
That's what
Yeah,
got
it's
him.
unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Like I said, man, that's life.
So
And
so fast forward us, man. So
boom.
you said you did you say, and forgive me, man, your story's
Yeah.
so dadgum interested, I forget. Did you say you were in the real estate or mortgage business?
Mortgage industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said. So how long
Yeah.
were you in that business?
Man, I would say I was in that business for about 10 years.
Okay. And did you bail in '07 or were you
Oh
already
07, that
done?
was it, man. Oh 07, I was done. I mean, it
Yeah.
was, when they were changing the guidelines back there, we had 2 in-house underwriters. So we were considered a banker, even though we would sell our loans off within a month and a half to
Mhm.
Countrywide or Wildmill or whomever. We were still able to write the paper. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we didn't have to show the yield spread premiums or, certain points that were involved. And man, I killed it. You know what I mean? Like I said, being a felon itself, I was used to making good money to like when I got out, man, I was towing the line. You
Right.
know what I mean? I was it,
Yep.
man. I didn't, I didn't want to get involved. I mean, my son was born and, he was tripping when I got out because of, he was the kid that was coming to the jail, and I was the one that's giving him like little cupfuls of Coca-Cola or Pepsi,
Right.
and he actually took his very first steps in Trenton State Prison,
Are you
and
serious?
yeah, man, and he's the one who passed away, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, and I said, this could be a good thing or it could be an omen, and fortunately, it was an omen, you know what I mean? But
How so?
like I
Tell us
said,
how so, man. Tell us how so.
well, again, him watching me and his uncles, running shit. He was around it. That's why I said, as an adult, man, you got to watch what you do around your kids, man, because they're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what you do. Bottom line,
Right.
I mean, if you're a fat piece of shit on the couch and you're telling your kid to go out there and play soccer, your weakness is their way out, and you're their
Right.
idol. You're their idol, regardless of who you are or what you are or what you do. You're their
Mhm.
idol.
That's a good
So I
point.
mean, he watched, he saw the glamour and the money and this and that, and he never dealt with that. Kid always had the best shit. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Right.
when we moved out here to Branson, he was 15, and he
Mhm.
grew up on the mats, martial arts, the whole 9 yards. I always had schools, and when he came out here, big kid. I mean, when he passed away, he went missing at the age of 26. He would have been 29 now. And he went missing for 2 years, and then they found his remains.
Mm.
But when he moved out here at 15, big kid, strong kid, and he knew how to handle himself. We moved out here, and there's a lot of I want to call like hillbillies. You know what I mean, rednecks,
Right.
and they navigated to him, man. They're like, man, this strong kid. So, he got involved in the game, and he became an enforcer and started
Mm.
working, and I'm like, kid, man, I said, there's only two ways this is going to work out. You're either going to die or you're going to go in prison. And unfortunately, he passed away. And
Oh man,
when they
that's
found it, yeah, yeah. When they found his remains, they kind of deemed it as probably OD. You know what I mean?
oh really?
Yeah, I mean they when they found him, all they found was skeletal remains. So there wasn't so much they could actually do. They found
Right.
97% of it, and so they could see if there was any foul play or
Right.
I don't know what they do, but I know he still had his pistol on him, so it was fully loaded, one in the chamber, had jewelry on, had it was money, but it's all like burned
Right.
up stuff like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
just from being weathered for 2 years, and he was implanted a little bit. He was sunk into the ground, so that's how they deemed it. And again, I got some closure, so
Yeah.
for 2 years. I heard every horrific story out there. I mean, you're talking about, believe it or not, Branson being a tourist town, and literally when I moved out here, I thought I was going to see Wally Cleaver walk out of his front door. You know
That's
what I
what I
mean?
thought, man.
Oh yeah, like straight up. But I mean, it heavily populated with meth, man. I mean, a huge
Oh,
meth problem, and I don't get it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's everywhere. But until you start to settle in, and being involved in martial arts, I opened up a school here. I started training
mhm.
law enforcement. So I was training law
So,
enforcement. I
so,
was
so,
certified
so you
trainer.
opened up a school. So tell us about
Yeah,
that because you got, like your story's so incredibly diverse. Tell
it
us
is.
about so you got out there. You
Yeah.
went out there with the intent of doing what? I mean, what was it your intent to start a school out there? Did you have something else in
And
mind? What was your intent when you landed?
well, I was connected here in terms of family. You know
Right.
what I mean? So my wife's family was out here since I would say 1997, and we moved
Okay.
out here in 2009. So through my father-in-law, he was really big into timeshare, which most people are familiar with it
Yeah,
and
with
everything.
timeshares, absolutely, absolutely.
And he told me, he said, hey, listen, you come out here, man. He goes, with your knowledge in sales, he goes, you'll come out here and smash it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So figured I'd go out there, man. He was promising me this, that, the whole 9 yards, which was completely a whole different aspect, man.
Right.
I got involved in that timeshare, and I'm like, I wasn't feeling it, man. I really
Right.
wasn't feeling it. And I said, man, this ain't for me. They wanted to force feed it down. I mean, I had a director say to me, if they're not buying, they better be leaving here dying or crying.
Oh God. Not
Yeah.
one of those Vegas pushes.
Yeah, man. And right there, I was like, man, we're not jiving, man. We're not connecting. And so at any rate, I was teaching at different places around here. Like the schools around here were horrible, horrible. There
Were they
wasn't really
soft?
any schools.
Were they soft, man?
They were soft. They were soft. They were soft. And I came in there like literally they would put it on a show and these guys were wearing MMA gloves outside smoking cigarettes, man. And I'm like, obviously this guy's about to fight because he has gloves on his hands, man. He has board shorts on, man. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, I tried to change the game a little bit, but really, literally, from '07 to '09, when I say I was robbing Peter to pay Paul,
Right.
I liquidated everything. I liquidated everything. I mean, I was in fear of my house being foreclosed upon. And so I'm like, my real estate taxes were $18,000 a year. And I wasn't living in anything really lavish. I was
Right.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I came out here and started teaching at some of these joints, man, and helping them with their game. You know what I mean? And kind of seeing how these guys were con artists too. Like the guys that had schools, they were in the timeshare industry. Because literally, if you're not in the timeshare industry out here, or unless you're an entertainer, you're broke.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I mean, like now you can go to Walmart and make $20 an hour, or Wendy's and make 15. Back then it was minimum wage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, the cats that I was kind of, going to the schools, and they were telling me they're this, they're that, and I'm like, you weren't able to get on the phone and Google. You know what I mean? Like we're looking at '09, so it wasn't like today.
Right.
You couldn't
Right.
really do your due diligence, man. So I'm believing in what they're saying, but I'm like, well, get on the mat with me, because the mat never lies. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, my knee hurts, my elbow hurts, or, their pussy hurts, man. That's what the problem was, man. And they got exposed. They got exposed, and I was very fortunate. Guy came to one of my seminars. And he goes, did you ever think about doing this on your own? I said, honestly, man, I'm broke, man. I'm starting from scratch. Like, I really don't have two dimes rolled together. And he goes, well, come over to the YMCA. I got a good guy over there, Talbert Loving, man. Loved him like a father, man. And he said, maybe we'll do something. And I progressively built a school there and then led into other schools. And my facility right here, I mean, I have 10,000 square feet. So
wow, you got a 10,000 square feet facility.
I'm in the office area right now, so it's
okay. And you primarily do MMA coaching, teaching. Tell us about your business model.
Well, here's the deal. I was more into the weight training. I mean, the weights were always my anchor, regardless of when I turned the age of 13. I was on the slender side, and my father was hardcore. He's like, kid, you're tough, but you got to build that body. You know what I mean? So he got me a weight bench, and I fell in love with it, man. I love the results. You know what I mean? So I became addicted to it. You know what I mean? And I always did. So it was always my anchor. And honestly, out here, martial arts really didn't pay much. So I did it. And then honestly, I started to lose the passion for it. And I really did. And I would always tell my students, every day I come onto this mat, I have to earn my black belt. Every time I put that around my waist. And when I started to lose the passion for it, I knew it was time to bail out, man. You know what I mean? Even though I was still able to deliver and give them great material, I wasn't feeling. You know what I mean? And I always felt good with training people and watching them just develop. You know what I mean? Like I have a self-mastery system. And I start off with their mind and their macros first.
Mind and macros. I love it.
Mind and macros, baby. You know what I mean? And some people they're not there yet. Man. They're not there yet.
Did you say some people or most people? I couldn't hear you.
Most people. I like it, man. I like it. You're right. The majority of the population aren't ready.
I love it. Mindset and macro. So tell us about your program. Is this just in person in Missouri, or is this online? How can tell us about it?
Okay. Well, first it was personal training. You know what I mean? Where I was doing one-on-ones. And so I don't know if you ever heard Wes Watson or not, but Wes is my coach. And I was watching this cat, and I was really resonating with him because we had a very similar story. And I was watching what he was doing over the years, and he's putting out this figure, and I'm like, man, I know I can do what he does, and I can do it better.
Right.
And I tried, year after year after year, and I'm still personally training people, and I'm watching West blow up. I mean, this guy within 5 years now is making close to $3 million a month.
Wow.
A month, man. And finally, man, I said, I got the money to do it. I mean, really, I didn't have the money to do it, but I was rolling the dice. I believed in it. I believed in him. And so I threw my investment, and I already got it back tenfold. You know what I mean? So it was one of those deals that I was very confident in it. I mean, I burned that ship right on shore, so there was no turning back. You know what I mean? I'm on that island. I'm going to do it, man. And I had the mindset for it.
Right.
That was it, man. I had the mindset. I always had a strong mindset, but it was the blueprint that he gave me, which honestly I was somewhat doing, but he gave me a blueprint. And it was this is what you need to do every single day.
Right.
And it's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable task that you have to accomplish every day. And it's every day. Like every day, every morning, 2:30 a.m. I'm up. Monday through Sunday. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the highest forms of gratitude that you can give God is to get out of that warm bed when you're comfortable and you're feeling good. And you're like, you don't want to get out and not hit that snooze button. I'm out.
Right.
Hit the floor, I crank out 50. You know what I mean? And while I'm there, man, I grab my Bible, my cross, and throw it on the bed, and I'm not trying to push religion on nobody.
Right.
Like, you got to have a higher power, man. You got to believe in something.
You got to believe in something greater than yourself.
And there is. You know what I mean? Mine is Jesus Christ. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? I'll throw it straight out there, man. And I pray, and he's done amazing things for me in my life. And, honestly, with Jesus himself, I just started that journey recently. I'll say over the last year, always believed in a higher power, a God. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then a friend of mine said, did you ever think about praying to Jesus? I said, man, that's not my style, man. That interferes with me and my God, man. Like, and this individual said, well, what do you got to lose? I said, all right, man, one day. And I was feeling pretty broken, man. So I said, I'll give you my life. I said, I'm just looking for a sign. And the next day I got a sign that was unbelievable. And I said, well, I'd be a fool not to listen.
I asked for it. He gave it to me. Here we go.
He gave it to me, man. It blew my mind.
That's
blew my
incredible.
mind. And every day, he's going to test you. The devil's going to test you. But we just got to keep our foot on his motherfucking neck, man. And that devil's going to get up, man.
Mindset and macros. I love it. Yeah. Mindset and macros. So tell me about that. Because I personally am with you 1,000%. I do not think that you can outwork a bad fork, right? I just don't think you can. I just don't think you can outwork a bad fork. You can go to the gym 8 days a week and stay in there 2 hours a day, and if you're eating crappy, it's just not going to happen. That's just my opinion. I'm not a personal trainer, so
no, dude, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. I mean, so tell us
75-80% of it.
See, that's what I say too. I'm like,
absolutely.
It's like 75-80%.
Come to Google it. You know what I mean? You're not arguing with me. You're arguing with science.
You're arguing with science.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Figure it out.
Right.
And I tell people straight out, listen, I can put you on a macro-based diet, have you do just calisthenics, and in 3 months, you're going to look like a bodybuilder.
Exactly.
Now, if the reverse, I get somebody here training their ass off, and I'll put them through hypertrophy training, strength and conditioning training, whatever they want. But again, you're not going to outwork a poor diet.
No.
You know what I mean? If you're going to eat like crap, you're going to look like crap.
You're going to look exactly.
You're going to show. You're going to get results.
Hey, and you know what? Most people that are serious, like yourself, you said it yourself when your dad gave you that weight set. You get addicted to the results. You're like, wow, this is good. Because then other people are like, wow, you look great. You just got a different aura, you got a different spin, different vibe. It's just like, you giving your life to Christ. It's like you spin off this extra vibe, So tell us, but I want to know before 100%. You go, I want to know about your business, man. Can people get to you? They say somebody in Texas is vibing with you and they're like, man, I want to work out with this dude.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you provide like online training and the macros and mindset online? So
everything.
So is this where they can get it?
Absolutely. Yep.
Strength. So for those of you that are listening on our podcast, first of all, you got to go to the YouTube channel, check dude out. Bruh looks like what's the name of the Hells Angels biker? He looks like the Hells Angels bikers leader. Badass top to bottom. But man, you can see his,
man.
See, you can see his heart though. If you see him, you can see his heart, which supersedes anything else, which is so incredibly cool.
Thank you.
And I love anybody that swears and talks about Jesus in the same universe. I think it's dope. It's authentic, right? And you're just being authentic, and that's what it's all about.
Genuine, brother.
Because it tells people that, none of us are perfect. I've met some of the worst people in the universe I've met have been Christians that I've worked with and dealt with. They steal you blind. So you got to have a personal conviction to be a good person, right? Absolutely. To really bring it. And it has nothing to do with the other stuff, man. But anyway, if you go to www.strength hyphen certified with an SERTIFIED.com. Yep. You can check out Rick and you can see what he's doing. Probably he's got images of his 10,000 square foot facility and some of the things that he's doing. I can't wait to go check it out myself. I hadn't seen it yet, but I'm going to go check it out.
Well, honestly, I keep it simple. It's a landing page. I don't want to confuse people.
Okay.
It just comes down to, are you interested in the program or not? They can schedule a 30-minute non-negotiable or non-commitment, no obligation consultation.
Discovery call. Okay.
Correct. Right. And I talk to them. I get into their mind. Like, why did you call me? Here's a reason. What are we looking to do here?
Yeah.
If they really want to check out my material, go on to Strength Certified with an S. Go onto my YouTube and go on my Instagram. If you go onto Instagram, you're gonna go on to Rick, RICK, Koenig, KOENIG, and that's on my Facebook as well.
Okay. Excellent.
So a lot of good material on both of those pages right there. On the YouTube, which is probably one of my weakest links I have, man. I'm trying to build it, man. I'm trying.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, you know how it is, man.
I do.
That's where it's at.
I do. And society's moving for, everybody's got this quick twitch, no long term. They're not playing a long game. I'm still playing a long game because I plan on being around a long time, but most people don't. So you got to give them those quick videos and you got to have something for them to see and all that kind of fun stuff, which, like you said, you're building. So Rick, before you go, tell us, with your vast life experiences from your dad being an entrepreneur, from coming out of the womb pissed off, ready to go, to finding Christ, to being in jail, to owning your own gym, to being a mortgage guy back in the day. Yep. Tell us, and I'm not asking you to wrap this up in one nice, neat little ball, but if you had the opportunity to grab one 20-year-old, one 15 to 20-year-old boy or girl, man or child, doesn't matter, what would you say to them as it pertains to, I want to say being a badass, and I don't mean being a badass in a bad way. I'm just saying being authentically living a high 24K style life. What would you share? Because you started to say you shared some of it with your son, and he didn't really, grab onto it. But what would you say? What would you say to anyone that even forget 20, even people our age? What would you say that to give them an insight to say, look, I'm gonna save you some heartache. Yeah. Here's my information. Here's what I would say to you. What would that be?
Man, find your purpose. You know what I mean? And that's through your passion. What are you passionate about in life? And can you make a living at it?
Right.
And if you can find that, that's your purpose. And go 100%. And like I said, come up with a daily plan, man. How are you going to accomplish this? Right. And start off on small tasks and make them non-negotiable and do them every single day. Because repetition is the mother of skill. Right. That's regardless of whatever you want to do in life.
Yeah.
I'm big in journaling. You know what I mean? And again, I hold myself accountable. You got to be disciplined. You know what I mean? And stay away from the drugs. You know, man, I tell people, stay away from all vices. You don't need to drink, man. I mean, if you want to have an occasional beer here and there, that's on you. But I got no time for it, man. There's no reason.
I love it, Rick. Thank you so much, man. Hang on, and I'll have you back in a sec. Hold on one sec. So I love it. I mean, everybody wants somebody to come in here in a suit and tie or the perfect workout outfit, but you know what? Life's not perfect. Life isn't easy. Life isn't sterilized the way you think it should be. And you should be old enough to realize that is not real life. And if people come at you like that, if I came at you telling you I can guarantee you an investment result, there's enough Bernie Madoffs out there. There's enough people that stole enough money from people for you not to be believing all that nonsense. So Rick is bringing you the straight, unadulterated truth. And you can get more of it if you go to www.strength-certified.com, and certified is with an S for those of you that are just listening. And if you really were paying attention to his story, if you were paying attention to his words, his story, and you felt his heart, what I would summarize our conversation is this: you can go the wrong way if you want to. You're going to pay a price. Do you want to pay with your life? Unfortunately, like his son did, with all sadness. Do you want to pay with your health like his dad did in all sadness? He still lived a good life though, but still he could have had more. Or do you want to pay with your time by spending some time not being in control of your life? So what Rick really said to you is that you need to be accountable. And at this stage of your life, you need to be truthful. And truthfully, if you can't be accountable, you need to go hook up with Rick. You need to go find someone that can help you hold yourself accountable, doing it every day until it just becomes who you are. Because he didn't say this, and I'll bring him back if you need me to. He didn't say this, but I think motivation is a farce. If you need motivation to get anything done long term, you are screwed. Because every day is not a great day. Every moment is not a great moment. And you need the habits that he talked about. You need to be able to do this every day. We're going to bring him back and ask him. I don't know if he's listening. We're going to ask him. Rick, let me ask you
straight up, man. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Are you motivated to get up every day at 2:30 in the morning?
Man, you can be motivated, but I could be sitting in that bed all day long motivated and not get shit done, man. I mean, what is that doing, man? You're motivated, but you didn't get anything done.
Facts.
That's it, man. That's the bottom line. You nailed it right there. I mean, I couldn't say it any better. And I tell people that all the time, man. Like, you got to get out all there and get it. You got to get
out there and get it. You know what? You deserve to live your life according to the standards that you have set for yourself. The problem is that you've not been consistent enough in living those standards. So therefore you are not getting the results. Therefore you are not addicted to the results because they're mediocre. And I told you once, I tell you again, the 24K life is about living in greatness and overcoming the mediocrity, which you can do. And we want to encourage you. If you need money help, hit your boy up. If you need fitness help, hit your boy up. Rick is ready. Rick, they should call you Ready Rick, because he is ready. He is ready to help you take it to the next level. Now listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. For us men, and you can look, if you're listening to the podcast, go to the YouTube channel, check out what Rick looks like. Check out what I look like. Okay. Two fit dudes over 50. You do not have to have a big ass pot belly, unable to climb a flight of stairs. Rick can help you. Go check him out. Go check him out. That's all I can say. Hey, I'm Derick Gant. Be your best. Bring your best. Leave nothing to chance.